Hi everyone, I hope you're all well. So this week I've been waiting patiently for my memorial invitation to arrive, and it's now Friday afternoon and it's about 10 to 4. Still no invitation for me. I'm a bit gutted. Even the likes of Amber, XJW Kid, Jay the Comedian, they've all had their invitations. Sadly, no invitation from me. Am I surprised? Not really. I am actually a do not call. So the reason I'm focusing on that is because recently I've had a number of Jehovah's Witnesses or Jehovah's Witness apologists that have been trying to preach to me on my comments in my various videos. And just to let you know that kind of you're wasting your time really trying to get this message across to me. I'm a do not call, and it's for the very reason that I am an apostate. You are not going to win me over to the truth. It's just never going to happen. So yeah, I had one particular one that we've been having a to and fro about these matters, and it came about that this person was working towards being qualified for baptism, and basically they could sense my irritation at their preaching in my replies to their efforts to teach me or to basically readjust me. And yeah, they could sense that I was irritated by the things that I replied back. Not that I was rude, but just very direct with people. And that's how you've got to be sometimes. You just got to be direct and let people know where it's at with you. So yeah, I'm just letting those ones know that I'm not a do not call for no reason. You can't really count your time trying to preach to me. You're wasting your time. I'm a do not call. Don't keep coming on my channel trying to preach to me. It's not going to happen. Obviously, I can't control what you do. So if you want to sit down and type out long messages and get into a to and fro with me, and then put that down on your time slip and report that as your field service, that's up to you. You know, do what you feel. But for me, I know that you're wasting your time. So anyway, moving on from that, just thinking about the memorial today. So you've got activists against Watchtower from all walks of life and from all different backgrounds, and also who find themselves in lots of different places, whether it be mentally, emotionally, physically, after leaving Watchtower. And the thing that I love about this is that there are people rebutting Watchtower's policies, teachings and doctrines from a scriptural standpoint, from a moral standpoint, from an emotional standpoint, from a comedy standpoint, from the irony of the whole situation. You've got people that were never Jehovah's Witnesses that come in and comment. You've got ones that maybe are married to a Jehovah's Witness. So you've got this broad spectrum. You've got, you know, obviously people that were witnesses, but even people that were never witnesses that actually rebut all of Jehovah's Witnesses' teachings. So it's coming from every angle. The other day, I happened to come across a video. I can't remember whose video it was now, but basically the person was just making a video showing people's responses to the freedom that we have to film publicly, to film in a public place freely. And that's something that we have in most Western countries. I don't know about anywhere else, but this person was filming in Canada, and they went into a publicly owned building, and started filming. Now the general public, you could see they were a bit uncomfortable, but they knew that there's nothing much they can do, you know, so just roll with it. There was one guy who actually took a step further and embraced it and offered to show the guy round and talk about what they do in that building. And then you had the one Jehovah's Witness employee who put his hand up at the camera and said, "I do not wish to be filmed for my religious beliefs. I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses. You don't have permission to film me." So it's just at this moment in time, the witnesses are really showing themselves up for just their ridiculous stance on things. So if any of you saw my last video, you'll know that they called the police on me. Now, when I was in the organisation, I wouldn't have dreamed of calling the police on somebody that came out to confront me in the ministry. You know, we were taught to rely on Jehovah and to keep the peace. And, you know, if we can't have success somewhere, just pick up, you know, shake the dust off our feet and move to somewhere else. But, you know, what's happening now is these ones are not relying on Jehovah. They're relying on the secular authorities, which are actually controlled by Satan, the ruler of the world. So, yeah, maybe times are changing. I don't know. Maybe. You've also got the fact that you've got all these complaints coming in against Watchtower. And what is Watchtower doing? Are they relying on God to make an answer? No, they're using their university-educated lawyers that are in the organisation, whether they were university-educated before they came in or whether they actually sent these brothers off to get degrees and that sort of thing in order to make a defence for the organisation. So, yeah, where are they relying? They're relying on Caesar's things. So, yeah, that's been quite funny to me. Anyway, I'm on a bit of a ramble today. So I've been thinking back about memorial experiences. It's not likely that I'm ever going to get invited back again. So all I've got is these memories of, you know, past experiences of going to the memorial. So I would say, what are my memories of the memorial? Is it a time when people reflect on Jesus' ransom sacrifice? I would say not for Jehovah's Witnesses, no. The memorial is a time to auxiliary pioneer, because you can actually count yourself as an auxiliary pioneer if you just get 30 hours this month. All the other months, except for when the CO comes, you have to do 50 hours. But in a memorial season, you can do 30 and be counted among these select members of the auxiliary pioneer list. So that's something you can kind of make a name for yourself. What else do I remember about memorial season? Could it be that the sisters would all be abuzz about what they were going to wear? Did they get a new dress? You know, and also who's going to whose house afterwards? You know, who's going to be providing refreshments after the memorial, and who gets their invitations out early enough so that they can get the select members of the congregation to come to their event. So these are all the memories that I have of of the memorial. Now, one of the things I remember, like it was yesterday, we had a sister in our congregation, a lovely sister, and she was, I would say she was heavily a Bible student, and her answers were always based on the scriptures more than on the Watchtower. And sometimes, oftentimes there were a lot of raised eyebrows when she would answer up. But anyway, she was a lovely person, and very spiritual. So one year we'd all been invited back after the memorial to this other sister's home for refreshments and some association afterwards. So that was quite exciting. You know, we were all going to have a get together after the memorial, and at this memorial, this spiritual sister you know, she'd probably been reading her Bible deeply and, you know, prayerfully consulting the scriptures. Anyway, she partook of the bread and the wine. The thing that was quite noteworthy was that she couldn't have been more than 50 at the time. You know, I would more say late 40s, possibly 50. And it caused a stir, such a stir. Mate, it makes you feel so unsettled when someone takes the bread and the wine, because it's just an I can't really explain it. For anyone who's not a Jehovah's Witness, you'd be thinking, you know, like, what's the big deal? But actually, for a Jehovah's Witness, it's really shocking when somebody of a certain age group and even a certain gender goes ahead and takes the bread and the wine. She didn't just take a sip and nibble. She had a good munch and a good, you know, guzzle of the wine. And there you could hear a pin drop. Like, it's quiet at that time anyway, because everyone's on edge. You know, nobody's really thinking about the sacrifice. What everyone's thinking is, don't spill the wine. Don't let the bread slide off the plate, because the bread's these kind of, it's like dry crackers. And if you haven't got a napkin underneath it on the plate, they kind of move across the plate. So everyone's thinking about, you know, not dropping it, not spilling it, and, you know, letting the kids know, you know, be ultra careful, you know, about this bread and the wine. Anyway, this sister, she partook of the emblems, and there was like deathly silence. And that night, I would say the hall cleared out pretty quick. In our congregation, we were quite known for staying back late, like late. But this night, we kind of cleared out pretty quickly. Anyway, we're all going back to this sister's house. Not say all of us, but, you know, certain ones were invited back. And this sister that had partaken of the bread and wine, she was invited back as well. So we all arrived, and you could cut the atmosphere with a knife. It was absolutely hilarious. And the conversation was very kind of polite. Oh, that was a nice memorial. Didn't the brother do well with his talk? You know, that sort of thing. Anyway, she, you know, had something to eat, something to drink, and then she, you know, said goodbye to everybody, and she left. So after she left, that's when it started. You know, that's when everybody was like, oh my word, I can't believe she took the emblems. And, you know, it's so crazy that, you know, people can get so uptight about this. You know, even I was like, wow, like, what is going on? And then you get, you know, there was a couple of elders at this do, and then they start giving their thoughts on the fact that, you know, some people with a mental illness can feel that they're anointed, or some people can be in such a low emotional state if they've had some problems. And, you know, we know that certain ones have had a lot of problems recently, and this could get them to a low point. They've given up on hoping to live forever in the paradise, and, you know, they're very desperate, and so they, you know, they make these choices. Obviously, no names mentioned, but absolutely everybody knows who you're talking about. Anyway, it was just one of them nights, you know, when the sister was still there. It was like one of them westerns where you've got the kind of tumbleweeds going across the desert with all the cactuses around. And when she left, yeah, it was a hot conversation. But you know what's really sad about that is for people that are interested in reading their scriptures, and from the standpoint that those ones want to do what they feel the scriptures are telling them personally, you know, if they do that, these ones that claim to be God's organisation, they will be smirking and frowning and looking down on you, instead of just kind of freely accepting, you know, that's what you're saying, that's what it is. You know, if you feel compelled to do that, you can do that. So I often wonder whether she went down in the count, because sometimes the elders, like when I've spoken to them before, they've said, you know, certain ones that we know are not anointed, we don't even count them in. So I don't know if she ever got counted in, but that was one memorial that was really quite, it was very memorable for a memorial, for all the wrong reasons. Anyway, I don't know how it's going to go tonight, because obviously I've not been invited, so I'm sure I'll hear from a lot of you that roll up and that have had your invitations, or you know, that are going to do your protests outside and that. I'm looking forward to hearing from you and seeing your videos. As it is, it was my son's birthday yesterday. He wasn't able to come up yesterday, so he's coming today. So I'm kind of tied to home today. We've got cake and got some champagne on ice, and we're just going to have a nice family time. But you know, I wish everybody well, whatever activism you choose to do. Obviously, as long as it's within the confines of the law. But yeah, I wish everybody well. I hope you have a good night. Whatever you are doing, whether this is an important time of year for you or whether it's not, you know, I just wish everybody well, and keep strong, and send out my love to everybody. Take care. See you soon. Bye.